Ready for our next bout, 96 kilograms, 211.5 pounds. J.D. Bergman won his second U.S. Open title earlier this year out of Ohio State. And Ahmed Tataari, fifth at the World Cup this year. Tataari beat Bergman at that event 3-0 and 4-0, sweeping the first two periods. Here Kyle Dake and his thoughts, the strategy difference in international wrestling, some of that due to the scoring, which possibly could change if the wrestling governing body decides to do that. But in the current format, you got to think a little bit differently of how you go about your business. Is Bergman trying to get something done here in the first 40 seconds?
This could be a big attempt for a throw, 1-point push out. And that's surprising. Having a chance to talk to JD, he feels very good. He feels comfortable. It's been a long, hard road for him. He hasn't had a lot of the experience like a lot of these guys do. And the international scene, you kind of have to put your time in. You have to put the practices in, and that's where Hamad is a very solid wrestler. Really strong, good hips. A lot of these international wrestlers, they're so good at being always in good position because of the years and the knowledge of training. Again, another opportunity by JD. Taking him down, just relaxing. You don't want to get caught in the front headlock position, taken down or put to your back. That would be the worst scenario, and give up multiple points more than just one.
Again, he was shut out by Tataari when they met at the World Cup in February, so he does get a point here early and looking to make it stand up or add to it. And that's in the final 30 seconds here.
And that's where Tataari is probably feel a little bit different. Now an opportunity to score 1 point if he can get around. He's almost there. Now the referees. Now, I kind of see an opportunity for a gut wrench, and that's just a mental mistake. Putting your head down, that's where, Bergman needs to keep in position. Even though it's 1-1, it's not over. But when you put your head down, you give your opponent the opportunity to turn you like that, it's easy at that point. Now you're down 3-1 and the period's over.
Well, again, Bergman giving up multiple points late in the period. 3-1 win for Tataari in period number 1.
And Tataari with the fake to the left, and then ultimately goes to the right for the 2-point gut wrench. That's almost too easy, and I'm sure the coaches over there saying, "Hey, come on, you can't make those mental mistakes. You can't let your guard down. Even though he's a great wrestler, you got to be focused." And one of the things at the end of the period, at the end, they kind of shook hands and they looked at each other, and it's like, "You all right? You okay?" You don't usually see that in a lot of matches, and so I think this is truly a special moment. Where, the wrestlers around the world are kind of putting their best foot forward, to the IOC.
We talked about the U.S., Iran, and Russia here. This is the first event for Iranian wrestlers in the United States since the 2003 World Championships when they were held here in New York City. So a decade since Iran has been here for an international meet. And they are showing up here in the Big Apple and doing some big things. Let's see if Bergman can respond here in the second.
And I think a lot of these same fans are the same fans that were there in 2003 because, out of all the fans around the world, the Iranians are some of the most passionate, they're the most engaging, and they have the atmosphere, and they love the sport of wrestling because a lot of their heritage, the Persians in ancient Olympics, they have a history, and that's where it's taught from generation to generation.
And the official giving a signal to initiate more action. Well, the teams were at the United Nations for a press conference yesterday to build up publicity for this event. One of the Iranian coaches said, "Wrestling isn't just a sport in our country, it's a way of life, most often noted as the national sport in Iran."
And most athletes, 200 pounds, you go completely under, like Tataari did there, went completely under JD, and to have the strength to be able to come out of the position and not get scored on. That's just impressive to have that type of core strength to be in that position. Now, JD's looking pretty good. Tataari's kind of a little bit off balance here. That usually shows that there's a little bit of fatigue setting in. So this could be where JD has the opportunity. If he can just initiate and stay in good position, opportunities, they could potentially stalemate it. Somebody's going to get a point.
Tataari, Bergman battling Tataari, trying to gain control, and finally gets the point on Bergman. 10 seconds left in the period.
And that's just the small mental mistake. The whole period wrestling really smart, making that one attempt that he gave 100% to, put his head down, and you can't just stay underneath these great wrestlers, and that's what Tataari kind of baited it, got his head down, and then scored the 1 point, and it was almost too easy.
And able to keep Bergman at bay and rack up yet another win for Iran. Backslap of appreciation between the wrestlers, and Iran gets another victory. Ahmed Tataari, the latest from Iran, to get the victory as the action continues here at Grand Central Terminal, the USA and Iran. USA Wrestling.